Welcome everyone to my AMA for November 2, 2023. These are my Ask Me Anythings. I hold these about every couple of weeks or so. And actually today what I did is I filled out my calendar for the rest of the year. So I believe I'm going to be having 3 more of these Ask Me Anythings, and I got a couple of classes that I'm going to be doing. So check out my site, Dan's Tutorials, to see when those are. They're on Thursdays, but you see exactly when they are. Of course, I'm not going to do it over Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I am taking a little holiday vacation in the middle of December. So, but I think I have about six more classes, webinars for 2023. For those of you who don't know who I am Dan from Dan's Tutorials, Dan Wassing from Dan's Tutorials, and I create videos on how to use Apple software. Anything from the iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple Watch, and even the Apple TV. I just found out that Apple has a beta of the new Apple TV, and it looks a little bit different. So I will have to update my Apple TV. I haven't touched that one in a couple of years. So I'll be having a video on that in the next coming months. You can find all the stuff out over at danstutorials.com. And if you like what you see, all I ask is that maybe you consider becoming a member of my site. It's not, I don't ask for an astronomical amount of money, and you are helping out support a small business. It is just me, or me and my wife, I should say. My wife works for Susan G. Komen, and she's in the other room in her office, and I'm in my office at our house, and this is it. So your support helps. All right, so that's enough about me. Let's get going with these questions. So basically the way that these AMAs work is when you register, if I have about 8 slots that are open where people can ask questions. So I can get these questions ahead of time and do a little bit of research and see if I can get the answers to them. So those are what we're going to go through first. And then what we'll do is, depending on the time, we'll open it up to open questions as well. So the first question that I have is actually from Tom, and whoops, there's my title. I got to quickly run through my slides here. The next one is, here we go, then this one is the one that we want. Tom asks...
We're not seeing anything.
Ah, darn it. Let me share my
Just
screen.
you.
No, I got to share my screen, that's all.
Not yet.
Now you are seeing something, right? You're seeing me, and
Success. Nope.
if I go like this,
Screen went away.
you see Tom? Question, how do I set up, correct? All right. So Tom asks about Synology, and Synology, for those of you who don't know, Synology is basically, they make a number of different drives, but the ones that they're really popular with are what they call NAS, or network drives. So basically what you're able to do is put a hard drive, or a number of hard drives. In Tom's case, I think you said you have 8 drives in it?
I have 4.
4,
Each
okay.
one terabytes.
So it has four hard drives in it, and essentially he's able to access those hard drives from any computer as long as he's on his network. That's the whole idea with the network storage. These used to be not necessarily ready for home or available at home, but the prices has got cheap. And the nice thing about these drives is they are redundant drives. So if one of the hard drives fails, it's backed up on another hard drive. So they're RAID type drives. So Synology is really the good one out there. Drobo used to be a really good one, and that's what I use as a Drobo, but they went bankrupt, I believe, this year, so I'm going to have to figure something out. Well, I will figure something out. I did figure something out, but Tom, I got to show you this. You're seeing the wonderful Synology, and they are. My brother uses them. Apple people use them that I know. They are great. But here's my Synology. It doesn't work. So I had to take it apart. But actually this works out good, because for the people who don't know what this is, so basically what you would see is you would see this, that, and basically it looks like a hard drive. But when you look inside of it, you're going to see here there are 2, I have a 2-bay, so it has 2 hard drives in here. What Tom has is 4, so he has another 2. My brother must have the 8. He has 8 drives in here. And then what you can do is this drive also backs up to this drive. So let's just say that this is 4 terabytes. if this is 4 terabytes, 2 terabyte here, 2 terabyte here, I can use this in one of two ways. I can use both drives together, so that's 4 terabytes, but the problem with that is if one of these drives fail, and Chris knows about drives failing, if one of these drives fail, that means that I lost everything because they work together. So what you do is you set it up as a RAID. So then if basically I have 2 terabytes of storage, or roughly 2 terabytes of storage, 2 terabytes is stored on here, and it also backs up on here. So both of them just kind of work together to back up everything. And if one drive fails, all I have to do is just pull this out. Do I have it screwed in? I have it screwed in, so I can't pull it out. But basically, you just pull the drive out, it just slides right out, and you pop in another drive, and then it starts doing its magic again. And they really do work well. And it's a way to get a lot of storage and have everything backed up. These used to be very expensive, and they're not so expensive anymore. And these, of course, hard drives have gotten cheap, so you just pop new hard drives. In fact, if you look here, I have 8 terabyte. Each drive is 8 terabytes. That's a big drive. So that's what Tom is talking about, a little thing on what network drives are. So what Tom wants to do is, yeah.
We're getting a lot of disconnect between your voice and the video. It's getting pretty ragged.
Is it? Is it for everyone?
Mine's working well.
All right.
Mine's okay.
All right.
Mine is fine.
There is some
Must be
late.
on my end.
Must be on your end. Sorry. Actually, that works out well for me then. With this, so what Tom wants to do is he wants to use this as a time machine backup. Absolutely great idea, because then it just backs up. No matter where you are, he could be wireless on a laptop. He could have two computers, all that, and they back up separately to that Synology drive. Now the thing is he asks, how can you do that? He's having problems with it. So Tom, now that we got what a Synology drive is for everyone else, have you ever had it working?
Yes.
Okay. Then this next slide won't necessarily help out, but for people that are curious about it, I'm going to go to my next slide here, and there's a web page here, hopefully. Where is it?
Right.
Of course, it's not showing, so I'm not going to. It doesn't work anyway, but basically what you have to do is you have to set that Synology up to be used as a time machine backup. And there's a lot of different little nerdy steps that you have to do, but Tom has done that, so we don't have to pull up that page at all. So what is it? I'll go with this. What is it doing?
What I found was that it was backing up my iMac, 27-inch iMac, which the operating system is 4 generations old, and it works just fine. It worked on the last one, but it didn't seem to work with betas.
Okay.
And when doing betas a couple weeks ago, but then I had a failure of our network went out because our underground cable got damaged, and when I got it repaired, all of a sudden things stopped working because I had to tear down my router and whatnot, and everything was piled up. Well, that particular problem turned out a switch port had gone bad. It was a Netgear switch with 8 ports, and one of those ports, unbeknownst to me, even though the lights would flash, it stopped working. I'd never seen that happen before, and that just got solved 2 days ago.
Okay.
Day after I sent my message to you.
Okay.
So,
Well, that's actually good for everyone, and a good reminder to me. I had a problem as well. My Synology is beeping, so I need to figure that out, kind of thing. And I forgot how to get onto it. I forgot the IP address, which is my fault. So anyway, but I had a similar issue with my Sonos, which is my speaker system. And what it would do is it would intermittently connect and disconnect, and come to find out my Ethernet switch got unplugged. So it was switching between Wi-Fi and, so point for everyone else, when you're having networking issues, check unplug switches, Ethernet ports, Ethernet hubs, all that kind of stuff, and plug them back in, and sometimes they just go bad.
Yeah, Ethernet cables go bad sometimes too.
Yeah, they do.
You watch for lights and other things, but you touched on one other thing which is related. So if you need to find your IP address, what app do you use to do that with? Because there's really not something built into the...
I was going to ask you that. I don't know. That's my problem. So I haven't figured that out. There is a Synology app that you can use to find that, but it doesn't seem to be finding my Synology. So that's why I can't find it to find out what exactly is going on. So I'll let you know when I find out what the answer is, but I do not have an answer for that yet. So
yeah, I had actually found a really good app, which I'm now scanning to try to find because I can't remember the name, because the symbol was a frog.
And it's made by Synology?
No, it's not made by Synology. It's a different company. And well, I'm holding up everybody else. I apologize for that. But it was there it is, LAN-Scan, LAN scan.
Oh, that's an oldie. That's a good oldie but a goodie. Yes, LAN-Scan. I use that. God, that's been around for a long time. I'm going to write that down because I'm going to need that, I think. LAN-Scan. Advanced IP something. No,
Yep.
not that one.
And it will scan your network and find all your IP addresses.
Okay.
That was discovered I had a problem, then found that I solved my problem with Synology.
Right. Actually, we have another that's on the App Store too. Hopefully I can download it for free to try it out. Oh yeah, I can try it out. All right. So we have another question like that where it was the issue was solved before this thing. So let's get on to our next question, and that is which one that was solved. Preview crashes intermittently. What can I do? So this comes from Robert, and he emailed or sent the question in. So what I did is I emailed him and I said, "Can you send me a copy of the PDF and see if I can get to it or not?" And then lo and behold, just like Tom, he goes, "It just started working." So it's not an issue. He says if he runs into that problem again, he's going to send me the PDF, but it does seem to be working. So I'll just tell you my general tips on what you can do to try to figure out what is going on when you have something like this. Basically, what you want to do is see if you have another Mac. You need to figure out if it's your Mac or if it's the PDF. So when I asked him to send me that PDF, if it would have opened up on my end, then I would have known that it was something on his Mac. And then we can kind of go from there. If it didn't open up on my end, then I know it's something with the PDF. So what we need to do is we need to try to replicate the problem. Any type of troubleshooting, that's what we're trying to do. And with this case here, so what you want to do is if you have another Mac, see if it opens up on another Mac. If it does, okay, then we know it's not the PDF. If it doesn't, then we know it's if it say that it opens up, because in most cases it probably will. Right? I'm going to guess that a PDF is not the issue. You can also try opening it up on your iPad or an iPhone. They can read PDFs as well. So then the next thing that you'll want to do is, I'm going to go to my Mac here. What I would recommend doing is maybe setting up a new user on your Mac. And you can just call this one just a test user or anything like that. And the way that you do that is, get my Cursor Pro running here. The way you do that is you go to your system settings or system preferences if it's an older Mac. And you need to go to users and groups. And system preferences is pretty easy to find. They're right. It's a preference pane that says users and groups. With system settings, you have to go and find it here. Then what you'll want to do, you're going to see I have a lot of users in this account here. So what you want to do is you just want to go and add a new user and type in your password. and then just, I would, you could call it, it could be an administrator. That's typically what I do, but you can make it even a standard one. But basically just call it test user or whatever you want to call it. And then enter in a password here and create the user. And that's basically all you have to do. Then with that PDF, what you want to do is open it up in that user. So you can go and log out of your current user and then log into the new user and then open up that PDF. How would you how would you get that PDF over there? Probably the easiest way is if you have, I'm going to call it SneakerNet. If you have a little drive, put it on that drive, and then you can do that. But the Mac does have, I rarely use it, but the Mac does have a shared folder. If I go to the users here, oops, if I go to applications, we'll go to Macintosh. Here are all my users, and you're going to see there's a folder called shared. So what I would do is I would dump that PDF in this shared, and then what you'd be able to do from that new test user is access that PDF and see if it opens up. If it opens up, that means there's something wrong with your user folder. Something in your user folder is actually preventing that PDF from opening up. If it doesn't open up, then it's something with your Mac overall. The operating system itself is corrupt or something along that line. So you can go and reinstall the Mac OS, things like that. But basically what we're trying to do is find out where the problem is. So he restarted the computer, or it did something, which is always a good thing to do, is restart the computer. It's one that I forget. I don't know if that's what he did or not, but all of a sudden it just started working. So I don't know what his solution was, but there's some troubleshooting tips right there. All right. The next question that we have is from Ted, and he's asking how he can get a real-time update on his Apple Watch, or actually from his phone.
The question was on my phone.
On your phone, yep. So with the watch, as we all know, it keeps track of your steps. And if you don't have a watch, you can do it on your phone too. Your phone will actually keep track of your steps. Not as accurate, but it's actually surprisingly accurate. So what you can do to get a real-time kind of thing of your steps, and I'm not going to say it's real time. When you take a step, it's not going to count up every time you take a step. There is a delay of 4 or 5 seconds or something along that line. It doesn't update it automatically. But are you familiar with the fitness app, Don?
Marginally. I
Marginally?
use
Okay.
the phone and get the steps off of the health app there.
Okay, so what you want to do, this is where I go, is I go over to the fitness, and it used to be called activity, but Apple changed the name. It's now called fitness. You're going to see it here. And with fitness, what you're able to do is get your steps. Now, this is my demo phone, so it doesn't have any steps. I do have my other iPhone in here. So my one with the real steps, which is going to be an embarrassment when you see how many steps I've taken. All right, so does this bring me to my iPhone? Yep. So this is my live phone, my real phone, and you're going to see that it says steps 1521. And when you tap on that, you can get, this is your daily activity. So right down here, oops, pencil's not on. Right down there is where you can see those steps. And that's basically how you can do it. Instead of opening up the health app, you can just keep this open and you're going to see your steps there. And again, as I said, it's not going to update real time. And I go and take 2 steps and it's going to show me 1, 2. Not like, yeah. Try it with the fitness. I don't know if the health app is, I think the fitness app is where all of that data is kept. And so maybe the health app is just not updating it. So try that and see if that works. The other 2 part of his question was on the Apple Watch, what you can have is you can have a sweeping second hand. So I'm going to go to my Apple Watch here, and let's see here. Let's go.
Yeah, and I've got the sweeping second hand on my display, but the display dims out and
Yep.
stops. Yeah, okay.
Yep. So what he's talking about here is you're going to see I have that sweeping display there. And what happens is when I move my hand this way, what it does to save battery life is it stops everything. That's the main reason why it's doing it. If that hand were to sweep, it'd take up all your battery. So he's wondering if there is a way that you can get that to always sweep. And the short answer is no. Actually, that's a longer answer. I could have just said you can't do it, but I like to explain what's going on a little bit there. So, yeah, can't do it. So, All right. Our next question with a typo. That's it. Can I have my Apple Watch always show the sweeping hand? Let that go away. And this comes from Kevin, and what he's talking about is app versus web. Should I use one or over the other? So when he is working on something or whatever, we all, in a lot of cases, we can do it either a browser or we can do it via the web. So is one better than the other? Is it safer than the other? Is that what you're asking, Kevin? Stuff like that?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it seems to me, and I guess I'm kind of paranoid in some ways, I guess, about hacking, everybody getting hacked and all that
Right.
stuff. So, seems to me, I've read, but maybe incorrectly, that if you have an app, that app is produced by usually who you have the app for. Let's just say McDonald's. You go up to McDonald's, they ask, are you going to use their app today? So it seems to me they're tracking you more than if you went into their website. I don't know. And so, but maybe they're more responsive too. If you have for instance, we have a radio station called WTOP in the area. And they always recommend people to use, it's a news station. They usually want people to use their app, but I don't usually like to do that. So that's what I'm trying to understand. What is the advantages and disadvantages of using the app versus just using a web page?
Well, I would dare say that they can track you. Yep. I dare say that there's more tracking with a website.
With a website
Yep.
than with the app.
Yep. Because with, let's just go and take a look at the App Store here. And what, you said that it's W what? What is it?
WTOP.
WTOP. Let's see if we can, Washington's top news?
Yes.
Okay. So here it is. Okay. And basically, and this is not, the nice thing about an app is, and it's not foolproof. Apple is using people, a trust, they do their tests, but people can get by it. But the nice thing about the apps, and you can't do this with an iPhone or with a browser, is you can actually see what they are doing. So the data that this app is tracking is your usage data, so how you're using it, okay? But not where you're using it or anything like that. So you're going to see the data linked to you is your contact info. So they are getting your contact info. The nice thing about an app is you're getting all this. Well, they can do the same thing on the web. The web is there are no limits for the most part, kind of thing. Data not linked to you. They're not using your location. I can tell you for sure, if you're listening to WTOP on the internet, they know where you are, because of your IP address and all that. So this is not linked to you. So this actually seems to be pretty good, but I think that an app, is actually probably a little bit safer, I guess, if you want to say that, than what the web is. The web, there's a lot more little things that can they can install in there, and you got ads and all that kind of stuff. Saying that the web, I use the web, like when I look at YouTube Studio, they have an app, and the app isn't as powerful as the browser. In a lot of cases, the browser has more features than what the app does. So the apps are usually what, for lack of a better term, they're dumbed down. But in something like this, all you want to do is get the news. That's just fine. So I personally, wouldn't be afraid to use an app in something like this. Yeah.
It doesn't look like that particular app is that good. 2.8.
Yeah, right. Well, let's see. That's always good to get. Go get the reviews. So if I go see all here, what I always tell people to do is don't go by this right down here, because you're going to see it says right here, the first one is 2 years old. If they are developing this, and here, this one is 4 years old, okay, well, I mean, those are pretty old reviews. I do not like how Apple sorts it by default for their most helpful. I think that is really not that good. I want to see what the most recent reviews are. So I like to go here, and now what you're going to see is still not good. But here they're saying, it needs a landscape mode. Okay, well, basically what they did is they took an iPhone app and made it for an iPad. Okay, well, what do it's a news app. You're not, you're just listening to, just let it run in the background or whatever. But yeah, it's not getting good stuff, good reviews. I'll go with that.
No, but one of the bad reviews is correct. It's all commercials all day long. But it does have good traffic update, and that's
okay.
Well, traffic.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
The next question I have is folders on my desktop are not sorting properly. And basically, the question was, let's go over to my Air here, and I forgot her name. But let's see here. I'm going to go back and see if I can get, or his name, Peter. Is Peter here? Okay, so I'll show you what I think may be happening. So what you can do is you can sort your desktop here, and you can sort it by name, by date, by kind, and all that. But what Peter is saying is that it is sorting in descending order. So when he goes to his desktop here, you're going to see that it says Apple Watch. Everything's in alphabetical order. But if you look here, my folders are at the top. I think that's what he's talking about, because you can't switch. When you sort this, you can sort it by name, but you can't sort it in ascending or descending order. It's always in ascending order. And I might have that backwards, but I think it's always it's one order, and you can't flip that around. So it's always going to be alphabetical, A, B, C, D, and same thing with the desktop. It's always going to be A, B, C, D. So why are my folders on top here? And this is the only thing that I can figure that he's questioning. Well, what you can do on the Mac, and this comes over from the Windows world, is you can, oops, it's not there. You can go to your Finder settings or preferences, and what you're able to do is set if you want to keep your folders on top. So I'm wondering, Peter, if you watch this later on, what I'm wondering is if you have this checked. If you have that checked, it's always going to put the folders at the top. It will always do that. And all you have to do is just uncheck this, and now you can see my folders are intermixed with the rest of my stuff. So if you like your folders grouped together, always at the top, you want to make sure that you check that. But if you don't like that, then just uncheck that. That's my guess of what is happening on Peter's computer. So, all right. The next question. Thanks, Ted. Ted came to the AMA for the first time, and he commented that he's got to go, but he liked it. So thank you. All right. Can I import a signature form, another typo, my iPhone with an older Mac OS. So basically what I did recently is I created a video on how you can add a signature to a document from your iPhone. So let's review that, and the answer to the question is yes, you can do this with an older Mac OS. So I tried this on Mac OS Ventura and it worked. Now I'm using Mac OS Sonoma on all my demo stuff and the latest iOS and iPad OS, but it does seem to work with older Mac OS. So yes, as the answer to the question. Now I'm going to demo what we're talking about for everyone else. So if you have a Pages document, and what you want to do is add a signature, and really doesn't have to be a Pages document. It could be any document, any place where you can insert anything in there. I'm just using Pages as an example. And the video that I created for this, I actually added it to a note as well. So I have here my letter here, and what I want to do is I want to add a signature right here. Well, how can I do that? Well, if we go to our iPad it does work on the iPad as well, sorry, but I'm going to show you on the iPhone here. And, oops, wrong one. Air iPhone. There we go. So we have my iPhone there, and we have my letter. So what I want to do is I want to add a signature right here. The way that you do that is you just go up to, you have to hunt around for it, so I'll give you a little tip here shortly. But basically what you're looking for here is insert from iPhone or iPad. And when you do that, what you're going to be able to do is add a sketch. So let's go ahead and do that. Insert. Of course, it's not working. Why isn't it working? How about, let's try a note. When I want to demo it, it doesn't work. Let's go and add a signature here.
Does it depend on if you're in layout mode or?
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Wonder if I have to restart my computer. So I'll show you my little tip, and then I'm going to restart my computer while we go to the next question. Then we'll come back to this. But I'm going to show you a little tip. You're going to see that this insert here, when I'm in Notes, is under File. But when I'm in Pages, it's under Insert. So it jumps around. So if you want to find this, guess what you have to do? Go to every menu and see if you can find it. Pain in the butt. Well, Apple has this nice little feature here called Help. And if you look, you're going to see we have this search. And when I go and type in Insert, that's what I'm looking for, you're going to see that when I hover my cursor over top of it, it shows me where that is. So right down here is where it is. So you can easily search for it no matter what app you're in, because this will work across many apps. I believe it would work with Microsoft Word as well when it does work. Basically, this just tells you where it's at just by having that little blue arrow there, and you're going to be able to use it. So what I'm going to do is restart this computer while we go to the next question, and then we're going to come back and see if everything works. So the next question that I have is, what are NFC tags? And I have another little slide here that I can go to, hopefully. There it is. What are NFC tags? We'll get to that when I restart this. And I'm going to restart my phone just for fun. Although I don't think it's that because it didn't find the iPad either. Okay, so what are NFC tags? Basically, NFC is Near Field Communication. That's what it stands for. And what they are these little discs you're going to see below me there. You'll see these little discs. They're actually electronic discs, and they have circuitry in them. And you can buy like this stack here for like $10. And then what you're able to do is stick them to different places. And when you do that, what you're able to do is assign different information to each one of those NFC tags. So you could put contact information on there. You could put information to run a shortcut on your iPhone. Just little, just a few kilobytes, as it says in my text there. You can't put a lot. You can't put an image on there or anything like that. It's just really, really small amounts of text and things, web page, something like that. And the idea behind it then is when you bring up an NFC device, which we all hold in our hand, an iPhone is an NFC device, what you can do is you can bring this by one of those NFC tags and it'll pull that information off of there. So why would you use this? Well, what you could do, as an example, let's say you're at a trade show, what you could do is you could put one of these NFC tags on your table, and when you do, if someone wants to get your business card, all they have to do is just bring this by that NFC tag, and it will pull, add your contact information. That's one way of using it. Another way of using them, which we've all probably have, is the little key cards. I have one for the school, and that is an NFC tag, and it unlocks the door. They don't require any kind of battery, and the way that they are powered is through the phone. So when you bring up a phone or a device that can read it, essentially what it does is through magnetic coils, it'll produce just enough electricity for it to pull that information. So it just does it real quick. And you have to be pretty close to it, which is why you have to go like this when you unlock a door or anything like that. So basically you just use them to help automate. What I played around with this, I bought a stack of these a couple of years ago when the iPhone first started having NFC tags, just to see what I could do. I bought a stack of these for $10, and I put one outside by my garage door, and essentially what I was able to do is just bring my phone by that tag, and when I did that, it opened up the garage door because it read that tag, and that tag ran a shortcut, and that shortcut opened up the garage door. So, those are, I don't use it anymore. It was just kind of something because I found out it's easier to hit a button, kind of thing, as opposed to pulling out your phone on your, sometimes you're creating a problem. But it was, entertaining to try and see what I could do with it. But that's basically what NFC tags are. You can't, they're not going to get any information from you. They're not dangerous. They're not anything like, they can't snoop any information from you. All you can do is pull information from it. It's not pulling any information from you. So they're not bad or harmful in any way. Yeah.
What did you use to program the tag?
There's in the App Store. There's a couple of things that there's apps that you can use to program it. So basically, you download an app. You put in like I say, you can't put a lot of information on these things because they're small. I mean, they're about the size of a quarter or maybe $50, and they don't hold a lot of information. So basically, it'll have a field for a URL. And I could put a web page in there, and in my case, like I said, I don't remember exactly how I did it, but my Tesla can open up my garage door. So what I did is I had it open up the Tesla app and then open up the garage door through the Tesla app, which took a long time to do. I mean, but it wasn't the fastest way of opening up the garage door.
Thank you. So that means I have to buy a Tesla to be able to open my garage door.
Well, no, nowadays you can get MyQ on there and all that. But yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But yeah, that's how I used it. So that's what an NFC tag is.
Dan, it's Don. I asked that question.
Oh yeah, go for it.
And I'm a low vision person, and I have a lot of friends who are totally blind. And they talk about these NFCs as a way of navigating. in a restaurant, for example, finding their way to the restroom, or in a shopping center, finding their way to, the REI store or something like that. So I don't know if you've ever seen that or heard that.
I haven't. For the buzz was around, or was on, I think it was one of these things, there was a lot of buzz about these things when the iPhone supported it. Android phones supported it for years. iPhones only supported it for, I think, I want to say like the last 3 or 4 years. I think a lot of baseball stadiums are using it, and maybe like what you're talking about for directional kind of thing, but I don't know.
Uh-huh.
So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Hey, Dan, and on a related issue, if you look at my screen right now,
Yeah.
and if anybody wants to test out that, they can just point their camera at that QR code, and it should take you to the OMUG website.
Now that's a QR code. That is not an NFC tag.
Right, but like you said, if you're at a convention or something,
Right.
and you can not, it doesn't have to be on a screen. I mean, you can literally print this out on a piece of paper, and people can still point it and as they're passing by, and then go to wherever it is that you're directing them.
Right. And maybe, that's a good point. An NFC tag is very much like a QR code. Very much. It's just, it doesn't use the camera. It uses NFC, near field communication. And in most cases, a QR code will work just fine, which is probably why you don't see this all. But a QR code wouldn't work in what Don's talking about. That's where you need to have that electronic, because it's basically going to become your eyes, kind of thing. So, but I don't really know that much about that side of it, Don. Sorry. So, Mike, I see you have a question.
When you make a contactless payment as a retailer, isn't that NFC?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. So Apple has had, excellent point. Apple has had NFC. They just didn't open it up to us until a few years ago. But they've had NFC for years because of Apple Pay. So, but yeah, contactless payments are NFC. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go back over to that previous question and see if I can get this to work again, just to show you how this works, because I think it's a pretty neat idea, or pretty neat trick. So here we need my... All right. Let's open up this letter. And we go here, insert. There it is, just needed a restart. So I'm going to go cursor so you can see it. All right, so I have my cursor here. And what I want to do is place a signature there. So all I need to do is just go up under insert. If you can't find it, go to help. But just go to insert. Insert from iPad or iPhone. And I'm going to insert from my iPhone. And watch what happens to my iPhone. I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to let go of this key here where it says add sketch. Oops, I got to hit return. And the iPhone is now waiting for a sketch. And now what I can do is just sign my name and hit done on the iPhone right up here. And there's my signature. So that's at insert, and it does work with, at least it works with Ventura as well. So that's how you can insert your signature using your iPad or your iPhone. It works on both devices. So, all right, that is all I have for my questions. Next week, we'll open it up to questions here shortly, but next week what I'm going to do is just have a presentation on some of my favorite apps. I thought since last week we showed some of my behind the scenes and that kind of thing, I thought next week what I'll do is just kind of talk about some of my favorite apps and how I use them, just a brief thing, because there's probably quite a few, so I haven't figured out, I have to narrow them down. I do have quite a few favorite apps, so I have to narrow them down. But, show you some of my favorite things and why I use them, and, kind of go from there. So that is going to be next week. And yeah, let's open this up to any other questions. I see Deborah has her hand up.
Sorry.
I came in late, So I don't know whether you covered the question that I had asked when I registered about the ascending and descending order of the folders. on my
I
desk.
did. So
Uh,
I did
missed the
answer that, and good thing you hear. What I'm curious on, does it look like? Let's see, let's just go to my air. What I'm wondering is, does it look like this, where your folders are on top, and then
No,
everything
it's
else?
really that all the folders start, instead of from A on the left and ending with W on the right, they all start with W on the left on the screen and A on the right.
Documents
in
too?
Descending, yeah, everything.
Everything.
Folders, any open screenshots.
I did not think that was it, because I could not find how you can do that. There is. So when I go up under View here, I'm in my desktop, and I go to View. What I'm able to do is set how I want them sorted.
Right.
But there's no way to set descending or ascending.
So I Googled it and came to find that they said, well, you need to go to the column view on your desktop. So I went to Finder, I went to Desktop, and I went to look at the column. I went to Desktop, and all of my folders are in the correct order, alphabetically, listed from A in the top all the way down to WZ, whatever, on the bottom. But when you close this, and there's no way, it said, this is where you should be able to make it in ascending or descending order. And I couldn't find any place to
because
allow that.
if I go into the, hate this new button here. If I make the window wide enough, it shows me all the different. Come on, Apple. There it is. So if I go into the column view, I can change the sort order. So there it is, A.
Right.
And there it is, W. But it's not touching the desktop. The desktop has nothing to do with that. I mean, let's go back over to this view. And nothing there. Stack by. Nothing there. Label position, icon view, text size, so there's nothing there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look to see if maybe there's a hidden setting in Windows. Keep folders on top. That's not it. That's really what I thought it was. So.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to look in one of those Onyx, or do I have one here set up? It is, what's it called? Mosaic, Tripsy, PDF Pals, typing. Nope, I don't have it on here anymore. Let's go. And I forget the name of it. There's an app in here, Onyx. There's quite other apps, but since I have set app, I can use theirs. Hidden files. There it is, Almighty. Let's see here. We'll see if there's a setting for it, because there are hidden settings that we don't, that Apple doesn't expose. And there we are. Desktop. Show hidden desktop items. So there's nothing there. Let's try sort.
Ascending and descending order is all I could find.
Sort windows and desktops by recent use.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I'll see if I can. If I find anything, I'll let you know.
Hey, Dan?
I've never seen that. Yeah.
I don't mean to take
Why
everybody's.
don't you, you've got the pointer on your desktop right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hold down the control key and click. Then there's show view options or sort by.
Yeah, it's the same thing as in the other.
Same thing, yeah. There you go, Steve. Have you heard of that before? I didn't know you could do that.
I
Yeah,
do.
I use it a lot.
No, but I didn't know you could sort this in descending order.
Yes.
Oh. How do you switch it back?
Let's see. Do you have it in what order do you have it in right now? I can't see that.
I have it in ascending order. So let's
The desktop.
The desktop. Yep. So let me turn the folders off here. So it is going A, B, C, D, E, F, G, kind of thing. And
Okay.
she is going Z, Y, X, W, it's going backwards. So
It's,
sorting in the opposite direction. And
oh, wait. Your screen is showing it with the A all the way on the right at the top
Yeah.
and the W being on the left. When I look at a page, I automatically assume that A is going to be under the word Finder. Or that A would be in the first column.
Right. You're saying A would be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they go Apple. The way that Apple goes is this is the first one, second, third, fourth, fifth,
All the way from the right.
sixth,
It's a
seventh.
Japanese progression.
Yes. Well, there we go. We figured it out. That's it. Yeah.
But is there a way to change that order?
There is not. No.
No.
Apple has always had, Windows has always had it on the left, and Apple's always had it on the right.
Okay. Thank
that's
you
it.
guys very much.
Nope.
Namaste.
We
I
got it.
always loved the way Microsoft tried not to infringe or make it obvious
Oh.
that they were copying Apple by. Let's have our mouse pointer be white instead of black, and we'll
Right.
lean the mouse pointer the opposite direction, and we'll put folders on the opposite side. Yeah, right.
All right. Chris, I think I see your hand up there.
Yeah. Okay. 2 questions. Number one, you were on my MacBook. I use my right hand to do stuff, but I'm left-handed, so trying to write a signature on with my trackpad is horrid. So can I take a picture of it from a piece of paper, make my signature on a piece of paper, and use? Okay. Okay. That's
I use Sketch, but there's also Take Photo. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
The other thing is, I'm not that electronically inclined. So I guess I was looking at what you were saying about that Synology thing,
Mm-hmm.
or having your NAS drives, redundant drives. Is that something that me as a non? No. Okay, so don't even go there. Okay.
No, and because you still need to have this is what Drobo was really good. They were very Mac friendly, and Synology it's built on Linux. It is not. It's Mac friendly. Don't get me wrong, but it's not. Plug and play, and no. You still need to have a little bit of a nerd license to use Synology.
Okay, so it's not good just for a lay person like me.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right, Irene.
I have a quick question. When my picture comes at the bottom when I get ready to come up, it always has iPad, and I have to retype my name. Do I have to do that every time?
This is on your Mac?
No, it's on my iPad.
So on your iPad, let me go to my iPad here, and when you put it to sleep.
When I come on your live start.
Oh, so with Zoom, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
Every I always have to retype it.
I don't know. Let's see what happens. I'm going to join my own meeting here. Let's see here. Come on. All right. Let's see if I can get to that web. course, I have to sign in. Hold on here a second. Okay, I'm back. And this is today's, right? November 2. And we're just going to click on the Zoom, launch the meeting. Open, right? It's doing, this is how it works, right, with yours?
Right, that's correct.
And I'm in. So do you have a Zoom account?
I do,
Are you signed in with Zoom?
yes.
I
But
don't
every
know.
time I come on your live show, I have to delete the iPad and put my name in.
I don't know why that would be, because it didn't ask for it at all here. Do you, Kevin?
Need to go into Zoom. You need to go into Zoom into the profile page and put your name in.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
If you
thank
log
you.
into the zoom.us, you then go into your profile and add your name.
Okay, thank you, thank
You
you.
can't do it when you're going in through the Zoom link or the app.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. All right, Don.
Yeah, hi, I got a couple more questions. I recently got a new TV in the garage and I use it for exercising. And my installer wanted to put a sound bar in. And I said, well, how about if we hook a HomePod up to it? And it's worked out really well. He'd never done that before because you can get good speaker quality out of it and you can ask Siri kind of questions. And I'm wondering what you use HomePods for or what anybody else uses HomePods for, if anything.
It's a good question. My HomePod is double stick tape in our dining room because the cat likes to whack it and knock it over. And it became unplugged. And this is how much I use it, Don. It's been unplugged for several months. I don't use it.
Anything else?
Yeah, I use Sonos and it works well for me. And so I don't use it. How about anyone else? Anyone? Tom, or do you have any luck with HomePod? Do you like it?
Oh, I like it a lot. I have 4 of them. 2 of the big, well, excuse me, 6. I have 4 of the little ones and 2 of the big ones, the older ones. I like them a lot.
And and I shouldn't say it's not that I don't like them. I use Sonos, which is, I wish Apple would have bought Sonos instead of trying stuff on their own. Because I know that HomePods, you can hook them up in stereo pair and they sound great. But I think Apple is kind of entering the speaker system not full-hearted kind of thing. And I got 2 subwoofers, blah, 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 and they're just not, I'm not ready to switch over to me, it's a lesser system than what, so it's good. Yeah. So I know that and for what you're using it for, Don, I think that is a perfect use for it. And we have a TV downstairs with our treadmill, and it's winter now here. We had a couple inches of snow the other day. That would actually be a good idea for me too. Maybe doing something like that with my HomePod, hooking it up to the TV like what you're doing, and then
It's
then
nice
you
to
can
be able
use it.
to ask your speakers questions.
Right. Well, and I certainly wish that I had CarPlay. I mean, it's not that I like the technology. CarPlay is not on a Tesla, and I would love to have. My brother and I talked about that. He has a Tesla as well, and it's just like we can't use Siri to do anything, and it's super convenient when you can do that. So.
My other question, Dan, was I heard that a health app is now available on the iPad.
Yes.
Is that true?
It is true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you go over to the iPad, I have iPad OS 17, so There it is.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm. And it's it's actually kind of nice. Sync to sync. Yep. Download. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Oh, whatever. On the iPad, I'm glad that they added it because it used to have just a few pieces of information in there, and now it has a lot of So on the iPad, it's just much bigger screen, easier to find what you're looking for. So
That's great for me because, as I mentioned, I'm low vision.
right, yeah, yeah. Kevin.
Yeah, I may have asked you this question before at another AMA. I don't recall, but at any rate, I have 2 Hewlett Packard printers.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh, you asked about AirPrint.
I'm not all the times, but sometimes when I'm trying to print something, I can't tell you whether it's from a web page or whether it's a document that's already on the iPad or whatever. But sometimes I have. Usually, I always have the option to print, but sometimes I have option to AirPrint, and I'm kind of confused as to what. And sometimes they appear together. So, do you know what that's related to? Is it because of Hewlett Packard, or is it Apple, or have you ever seen that before?
I have, and I'm looking it up right now. Your question, I did see that in there, and I'm sorry I missed that. AirPrint is a technology, so let's just kind of look at this together. Built into most popular printers. This is kind of what I thought. It's built into the printer. So a printer has to have AirPrint built in it. And then when it has AirPrint built in it, it doesn't require any drivers to be installed or anything like that. And that's what Apple wants, like with their, because you can't install a driver on the iPad. You can't install a driver on the phone. Yeah, like here it says you don't need you don't have to install an app or anything like that. But you can print to devices that go outside of that. This basically, if my recollection is right, this gives you basic print options. And when I say basic, landscape, all that kind of stuff. But we all know that with some printers, there's a lot more options that you can have. So what you can do is you can download an app, and then it bypasses that AirPrint and uses the printer's more advanced software, and then you have more options. So I think that's the way that it works. I could be wrong, but I think if you go with AirPrint and try this next time you have both of them, go to AirPrint, see what options you have, and then go to the printer. And my guess is you're going to have more options. Do you need them? If you're just printing something, just go with what's ever available. So, but I think that's the way that it works.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Don. Or is your hand still up from?
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. All right. I am going to stop recording here and broadcast here. We have no more questions here, but then we can still kind of open up for just a little bit here. But let me close this out. For anybody that is watching on YouTube or watches it later, if you liked what you see here, check out my site, danstutorials.com, DANS. And, all I ask is if I'm able to help you, it's a small business, and, become a member of my site. You're helping support a small business. So thanks. And I will see you next week with a class on some of my favorite apps. Signing off.